Hey guys, Josh Culler here, the host of the Good Success Podcast. Hey, I'm just dropping in here to let you know that we are giving a free book away. Yes, a free book called Active Turnkey, The Best Way to Buy Rentals by Tom Olson himself, the president of Good Success. Yes, I did say we are giving it away for free. All you got to do is go to goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. Again, that's goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. as an active turnkey. And we're going to cover the book. So we're going to actually pay for the book and give it to you for free. We're just asking you to cover shipping costs, which is very minimal compared to the value that you're going to be getting in the book. So if you are interested in learning how to create financial freedom with real estate, go get your copy now. Again, that is goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. Thank you for listening to the Good Success Podcast, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to the Good Success Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Culler. We got Tom Olson rocking the Home Depot hat. Home Depot, if you're watching or listening,
Josh,
we need a sponsor.
We need hats.
We need a hat like that.
We need Good Success
Good
hats.
Success hats. It actually goes really nice because it's gray and then you got
like
the gray
same
polo.
Thing.
Emily, write it down. We're gonna get some.
I already
hats.
told her.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
If I tell her, I know she'll remember.
We're gonna get some hats. I won't remember. I've got too many things going on. Anyway, so today we have got Tim Davis on the line out of Lakeland, Florida. Tim, what's going on, my friend? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
We're awesome. So Tim has been a Good Success Mastermind member since day one.
Day one.
And get this, he is only one of two of our Mastermind members that has had perfect attendance and been at every single Mastermind event. So all 8, we've had 8 of them so far. So Tim has perfect attendance. We bought his dinner on one of the nights.
Talk about being present and participating.
That's exactly right. Yes. And he's officially a conduit partner.
Exactly.
He brought us Greg Bond, and now he's a
new member.
Yep, exactly.
That's awesome.
So that's awesome. So we love Tim to death. We're excited to get him on the podcast today. So Tim is president the correct name for your position? I don't know if you care about position names or whatever.
I'm not a big position guy, but I just call myself the manager.
The manager. Okay. Of all county property management that has over 400 doors under management. And he personally, in his personal portfolio, has over 80 doors. And then, like I said, he's been a Good Success Mastermind member since March of 2017 when we kicked it off, the inaugural meeting. So we're excited about that. We're going to have him on here, and we have some great questions to ask him. Tim has a very interesting past and present, so I'm excited to ask some questions. And I got some questions.
And future, because he's going to live to be 115.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I'm going to ask him about that. So
sorry.
We're excited.
I don't know what the questions are, so sometimes I just jump in here and I just ruin Josh's thunder.
It's okay. It's a sneak peek for them to stay on and see what's going to happen.
That's right. You have to stay on to find out more and how he's going to live to be 115.
That's exactly right. So before we get into it, if you guys haven't already, we have the Good Success Mastermind, which we're recording this on Thursday after the Mastermind. This isn't going out until you guys are going to be listening to this on Tuesday. But the November Mastermind in Miami was awesome. I think that was our best event that we've had yet. Tim, what do you think? Awesome stuff?
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it was great meeting.
Very cool. So
it was nice weather, too.
It was beautiful weather. Couldn't have asked for better weather. And then we came back to Chicago. It was 25 degrees.
And it had 2 inches of snow this morning.
Yep.
It took me about an hour and a half to drive what it normally takes me a half an hour for.
We're going to go back to Florida.
Yeah.
Right now. not for the next event. Right now.
I will be in Disney World December 1st through 8th. So
there you go. Man, that's exciting. So
right
we can't schedule any podcasts for a while you're out, or else you're going to have to sit next to Mickey and record.
That would be awesome. Can we get Mickey on the podcast?
We could. Possibly.
That would be
Walt.
Cool.
I mean,
I'll be like, hey, come on, let's do a podcast.
Exactly right. So the next event is going to be February 4 through 8. We are going a full week now because we're going to have a jam-packed event. So basically, one group's going to go 2 days. We're going to have a middle day on the Wednesday, and the entire group's going to be together networking. We're going to have some awesome stuff going down. We're still establishing exactly what we're doing. And then the second group's going Thursday, Friday, and that's going to be at Quest, not IRA, Quest Trust Company, which if you guys didn't know, they swapped names. They rebranded themselves Quest Trust Company. We're going to be at their office in Dallas, Texas for that event. We're very excited. If you guys want to learn more about it, go to goodsuccess.com/mastermind, and you can learn more. Fill out the application there. You'll talk to either myself or Tom, and we'll vet you and kind of talk to you about it.
We don't have everything figured out, but we have a lot of fun things already figured out. And one fun thing that's going to go down on Wednesday is going to be the battle between Mo Matthews and Jeremiah.
Yes.
So they are in a weight loss competition, and this is really cool and fun. If you're not watching this daily on Facebook, you should just watch it, because I'm probably going to be posting this. We'll probably post this on the Facebook group for Good Success every so often. But those guys kind of got into it a little bit and kind of challenged each other on who could lose the weight. Who could lose the most weight, because they both really just want to live longer. They want to have healthier lives. They want to be able to be more active. And it's a fun little competition right now, and whoever wins gets nothing other than the satisfaction of watching the other guy on the stage with a grass skirt and a coconut bra. So I'm just saying,
and they got to dance.
So we are working on the music right now, and we're gonna make sure that this is really good. Emily's already trying to think about her shots. It's gonna be epic.
It'll be awesome. I'm excited about that. And that, I mean, health was brought up so much.
That's worth just coming to the mastermind.
That's exactly
Seriously.
right. If you're like on the fence right now about coming in February, that should be the icebreaker right there.
What do you think, Tim?
I agree. I think it'll be great.
Yeah. So anyway,
You're not going to want to miss that.
You're not going to want to miss that. We'll keep you guys up to date. I actually just scheduled a podcast with Matt and Jeremiah.
Awesome.
And then I still got to get Mo. Mo's traveling everywhere, so I got to get him on the podcast at some point. But anyway, you guys will meet them pretty soon. So we're excited about it. Next event, February 4th through 8th. And if you want to learn more about it, again, go to goodsuccess.com/mastermind to find out more. And then we have the Active Turnkey book. We are not out of these yet, but we're getting pretty darn close. The Active Turnkey book, the best way to buy rentals. Tom Olson himself wrote this book, and you guys can pick it up for free. All you got to go to is atkbook.com.
Look at that.
What's that? Oh, there it is. He's got it.
One.
Man,
Boom.
That is awesome. Tim, did you read it yet?
Yeah.
What did you think? Great book? Okay, awesome. So you heard it from Tim. You've heard it from like the past couple of people that we've had on the podcast that this is a great book. Marco Santorelli has it on his nightstand.
Yeah, he takes me to bed with him.
That's exactly right. So you guys pick your book up. You can get it for free. All you got to do is pay for shipping and handling costs, and then Tom's going to pay for the book himself. atkbook.com is where you can pick that up, take advantage of it. Some great content that's in there. And then Community Go Giver event pre-sale tickets are on sale right now. Save a couple $100 and go. Tom, I just got off the phone with somebody that is going to be purchasing a ticket
awesome.
Today, so I'm excited about that. Chad Tucker, if you're listening, you better get yourself here. But you guys can take advantage of that. CommunityGoGiver.com is where you can get your early bird tickets right now. Save a couple $100. We got an awesome lineup speaking. You want to talk about that a little bit, kind of what you've put together and crafted?
Sure. So we've got 3 days where we're going to talk about what we do, how we are flipping the entire city of Gary, and kind of where we're at with that right now. And so we have the first day, we talk about our fix and flips and kind of what we do with the fix and flip. Second day is all about rentals and how to be better stewards of a rental, how to manage them better, how to get more out of your rentals. And then the third day is really more is about low-income housing, and we also kind of talk about how to invest in your self-directed IRA and all that. So we've got some really great speakers from Quest Trust Company will be here. Josh Belk will be speaking. Jim Ingersoll will be speaking. Jeffrey Taylor will be speaking. Linda Lipitori will be speaking. Jeff Johnson, who's actually in our mastermind on fix and flips, he's crushing it out on the East Coast.
Fix and retail.
Although he's calling it flips now.
Oh,
so
is he?
I don't know. Anyway, so all those guys are going to be here, and if you're not already signed up, I would highly recommend it. Not just because it's our event, but because I really do believe that there's a lot of value in what we're offering. So every night we'll have a networking time. Every day we're actually going to go out and look at a house. So the first day we'll go out and look at a fix and flip. Second day we'll go look at a rental, and then the third day we'll look at what I'm saying is my vision for the city of Gary and some of these low income areas, and go over the numbers at the houses. Have a great time. Have networking every single night. We actually get out a little early each day, so it's not like you're in a seminar from 9 to 5. It's like we normally get done around 3 and go look at houses and then network. So it's a really good event. A lot of my turnkey buyers will be here. A lot of my investors will be here. A lot of the mastermind members will be here. And so if the local people want to network with my national network and the national network want to network with my local network, this is a place to be.
Awesome stuff. CommunityGoGiver.com is where you can pick up the tickets. I don't need to say any more about it. You guys take advantage of it and go get early bird pricing. Save a couple $100. So without further ado, let's get into the podcast interview. Tim, it's time. Briefly introduce yourself for our listeners, who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing that, a little bit of a background about yourself.
Okay. Well, thanks, Josh, and it's good to see you again, Tom. My name is Tim Davis. I'm in Lakeland, Florida, which is halfway in between Disney World and Tampa. So we're in Central Florida. We're right in the heart of it, I-4 corridor, which is a very popular place. I've been in this city since 1976. My parents brought us down from upstate New York when I was 12. And so I kind of grew up in this area. I'm a real estate broker and general contractor licensed in the state of Florida. And so we do fix and flips. We do some wholesaling deals. We do some buy and hold. Obviously, that's where the biggest part of my what I do is the buy and hold. And then we manage about 400 properties, almost 500 now. We have two offices, one in Lakeland and one in Kissimmee, Kissimmee is the actual town where Disney World is. So just so you know, we're over there with Mickey. And we don't manage. Are you
ever up there? Are you ever up in that office, or are you more in the Polk County office?
No, we pretty much manage everything from the Polk County office from Lakeland. We have a virtual office over there, but we do have a good sized portfolio, and it's starting to grow over there. Got a couple of agents working for us in that area. So, yeah. But anyways, that's a little bit about me. Been a good success member since we started. I was really excited about getting together with Tom and the guys. When he first called me and told me they were doing that, I was like, yeah, that sounds like something I want to be a part of. And so that's it.
Awesome stuff. So getting a little bit into your past and how you kind of got started to where you're at now, you have a very interesting story. A lot of things have happened. And if you don't mind sharing with that, we'd like to kind of dig into that a little bit deeper. So you bought your first rental at 18 years old.
I did.
What made you get interested in actually going out and doing that? Like, did you hear that real estate investing was popular and it's lucrative, or did you kind of just do it on a whim and without even thinking, or what's the story behind that?
So it was actually a mistake. Okay. My father is a retired Assembly of God minister. Okay. And so I grew up in church and around those type things and met a lot of people. And my dad had a little side business going on with a guy from the church, and it was in real estate. So this guy had a bunch of real estate that he had purchased, and he was showing my dad the advantages of it. Well, my dad's he's not a real estate guy, but he decided that he would buy a piece of real estate. And so he bought this house that had a mobile home lot next to it. Well, I was pretty young and I was just getting started. My first wife and we were getting ready to have a kid. And so we bought a mobile home and we set it on that mobile home lot. And so my dad was charging us rent for the mobile home lot, and he had rent coming in from the house. And it was kind of interesting, but he asked me if I would buy the house from him because he just was not interested in doing rental real estate anymore. So I ended up buying the house, and I moved into the house, started fixing it up, and started renting the mobile home out. And it was kind of neat. I was like, I like this. I mean, I was renting it for, now this was a long time ago, $200 a month. So, but that was my first rental property. And so then I started reading books about it and learning about it and started growing it from there. So, kind of fast forward a few years, I got into construction, got my license to be a Florida contractor. And I built a really large remodeling company. And we had several single family homes and different things. But over the years, I started getting into commercial properties. So one of the things, and I think it was a Robert Allen book I was reading one time, and it was talking about owner financing, and 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 I had done quite a few creative deals, although I'd not been trained on it other than reading books. But one of the things that he said in the book was, if you have a business and you rent from a landlord, ask the landlord when he wants to sell you the property. So my business was a remodeling company, and we were renting this space in a big warehouse complex. And I came up to the owner one day as an older gentleman, and he's walking down. Every month he would come around and he would stick the bill for the rent on the door of your unit. And so he'd do that every month. And I'm thinking, man, I don't think that's really the way to manage property, but that's the way he's doing it. So one day he came around, and I looked at him and I said, his name was Mr. Odom. I said, Mr. Odom, when are you going to sell me this building? And now this is a 24,000 square foot warehouse it had 16 bay doors in it and 11 acres of undeveloped property that could be developed. And I looked at him and I asked him that, and he looked at me and he said, when you're ready to buy it, I'm ready to sell it. And so we started negotiating. Took us about 3 months, and we put a deal together. And believe it or not, it was a $0 down. And I structured the payments so that I could pay the mortgage payment and keep a little bit in my pocket from the existing rents. And then my job was to secure better rents and get it up so that we could actually make some money. So I did that. And, we closed, no money down, $850,000 deal. Now, up to this point, I had only done residential deals. So I knew nothing about this. I mean, I went in, it was kind of another mistake, just kind of a by chance thing happening. But I bought that property, and we ended up doing really well with it. We developed some of the 11 acres. We put a manufacturing facility out there, started another business doing some commercial modular buildings. And so it was just a good thing all the way around. 2005, when 2005 came around, I decided that I might try to sell it and see if somebody wanted to buy it, because there was a lot of appreciation in Florida at the time. And there's a lot of appreciation everywhere at the time, what happened. And so we put it up on the market, and lo and behold, somebody from California decided that $1.5 million was a good deal for that property. Wow. So we sold it. And so that's how I kind of got started in real estate. But when it all came down to it, and this is part of my story, in 2008, I had a very large remodeling company, and things just kind of dried up. I'd sold that property, and I bought another shopping center, and I had an anchor store in the shopping center that was my business, kitchen and bath showroom. And we ended up going out of business, going bankrupt in 2008. And so I had to start from scratch in 2009 and basically reinvent myself. And that's when I really got serious about learning about real estate and how to creatively buy real estate. That's one of the things that I was really good at: owner financing, seller financing deals, and then using private lenders and stuff like that, and putting together pretty good size projects. So anyways, that's a little bit about how I got started in it and how I've gotten to the point that I am now.
So having a little bit of a long history there, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that happened in between all of that going down. What is one of the biggest things that you learned from that entire experience, from the time you bought your first rental at 18, even up to the time that you went bankrupt in that company? So what's like one of the biggest things that you could tell somebody that, yeah, this is what I learned coming out of it, something to do or not do?
Well, the biggest thing that I learned was not to get over leveraged with an institutional bank. Um, the institutional bank at the time when they actually called a line of credit that I had on my business, which was secured by real estate that I own, and they called that loan due, which basically put us out of business, and that's what caused us to have to file bankruptcy. So, and I really tried to work with them. I tried to negotiate with them. We tried to come up with some plans to to make it through that time, because it was a rough time in Florida. I don't know up in Indiana what you guys were experiencing at that time, but in Florida, um, there was a lot of building going on, and all of a sudden it came to a complete stop. And so because of that, I learned not to over leverage myself with institutional bank, because they really did not. Um, when I went to them, I'll tell you the story that made me learn this was Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving 2007. I called the banker up and I said, I'd like to have a meeting with you. And so they came in and I said, look, I know we're not behind on all of our payments are current. And, I feel like I've done the best I could at this point, but things don't look like they're going to be continuing the way that they have been. And so I'm a little concerned. I said, what can we do to make it through this? And I was sitting right across from the lender, and I'm not going to mention the name of the bank, but it's a big bank. And she didn't say anything, and she left. And the next thing I know, January came around. We went through Christmas. January came around. I get a letter from the bank saying that my account had been turned over to special assets, and that I was to call this specific part of the bank over in Tampa and deal with them only, and that they were calling my line of credit due. Now, think about this. I had not been late on my payments, and I wasn't intending to be late on my payments, but I was asking for help, and they had no mercy. They wouldn't do anything except turn me over to special assets and call the loan due in 30 days. And I had no choice at that point. I owed like $2.5 million to the bank, and it was secured by a property that was probably worth that. But evidently they wanted that property back more than they wanted to work a deal out with me. And so that's what, that's what I learned. One of the biggest things I learned. And so, like we were talking earlier, I do have quite a sizable portfolio. Well, none of those loans are institutional loans with institutional banks. They're all either private lenders or seller financing. And you can call any one of my lenders. I make all my payments. Even if I don't have money for certain things that I want to do, I'll make sure that my lenders are whole, because that's the way I am. Or we're going to talk about it and make sure that we work something out. So that's the way it is now. But that was a big lesson learned.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, people ask me all the time, well, why do you use private lenders when you just go to the bank and get it for cheaper? And I'm like, well, I have an 815 credit score. It's not that I don't have a good credit score. I don't have enough money to be able to do so or make enough money. It's always what you just said. So if something goes wrong, I feel like I can go back to those private lenders individually, work out something. Hey, maybe I have to give up more equity in the back end. Maybe I have to do something to make them feel good about this deal going forward. But at least like there's a mutual trust and a mutual respect, wherein, I mean, basically you told on yourself, and then it turned out to bite you in the butt instead of actually help you by actually being humble. So and that's not the case when you're working with a private lender. So I think that's definitely a good lesson to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what's for both of you then? What's a good tip to acquire private lending for people that are out there that might need it, as opposed to going to a bank?
I say be real. be who you are. Don't be fake. Go to these people and say, hey, here's what I've done in the past. Here's my track record, and here's the deal. I want you to lend on the deal and lend because I'm going to pay you back, not because. And many of my lenders, they're very sad when I pay them off. They say, you pay good. I want what else you got going. So, but that's something that I've learned. You develop those relationships, and it's not hard to get some money when you need it.
Sure. Yeah. To me, the most important way to get private money is to just pay people back.
Yep.
So, and when you pay people back, it's not just that person that wants to redeploy their money, but now all of a sudden they have family members that they bring over, or other friends and relatives that they bring over. So it starts a little slow, yes, but I think Jeff in our mastermind talks about having a credibility packet. Those are all good, actionable items to be able to go do. But in the end, it doesn't really matter how pretty your performer looks or what you say or how good of a slick talker you are. What really talks is if you pay people back, and you pay people back and they want you to keep their money.
Yeah, absolutely. Actions back up what you present. So, okay, cool. Now switching tracks a little bit, going to the property management. So that's your primary business there. Why is property management something that you love doing so much? Why is it been such a great business model for you?
Okay. So this kind of goes back to the story when I went bankrupt. Shortly after that, I did start a new remodeling company and was making a little bit of money doing that. But one of my friends, now up to this point, I had never thought about getting a real estate license. Okay. But one of my friends said to me, hey man, you're really good with this real estate stuff. Why don't you go get a license? And I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense. And I can go get a license. I can sell houses, make a commission, feed my family. Because right now I'm broke and I had no job. Okay, I'm 2009. I was broke and have no job, and I'm unemployable. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. Nobody's going to hire me. I actually put in some applications, and that didn't work. So I said, okay, I'll go get a license. I'll start selling real estate. So I did, and this is 2009. It was terrible. People were doing short sales. They were doing REOs, and I could not get a piece of that pie anywhere. Everybody else that was doing it, and it was hard to get listings. It was hard. And I'm like, man, I love real estate. I've been doing this for so many years on the side. There's got to be something in real estate that I can do. And I said, you know what? I'm a contractor. I understand how houses go together. I understand how to pull them apart. I should go into property management. And so I started doing the research, and here I am, 45 years old. I'm like, I don't want to start a business again. I already did that. I went through that whole thing, was real successful with it, lost it all in the bankruptcy. I don't want to start from scratch. So I started doing some research. I found a company that's a franchise company, and I liked what they said. They had the systems and they had things in place. So I bought the franchise, which is the all county franchise. And that's what got me into property management. And so we, started managing property, and then as I saw how well it was doing for all the people that I was managing for, I started learning how to buy creatively with, subject to deals and lease options and all kinds of things that was creative that I could get into without hardly any money out of my pocket, because I didn't have any money at the time. I was broke. And so that's how we got into property management.
Interesting. So you've been in this business for a while now, and obviously you have 400 plus doors under management in 2 different markets in Florida now. When it comes to property management companies, what are some things that you've noticed in other, because I'm sure you've networked with other people that have property management companies as well. We have a couple of people that are in our mastermind with property management companies. What is something that you have noticed that property managers need to maybe do more of or less of, or need to change, or some way to innovate their business that you see kind of a common thread when it comes down to property management?
So for me, one of the organizations that I joined early on was called NARPM, NARPM, which is National Association of Residential Property Managers. In that group, you get so much good information of how to build your company and how and tips and tricks to do. So I suggest that property management companies look into that at least to get some information. But the other thing is technology. Technology has made this industry very easy to do. There's so much out there that just kind of puts it on autopilot. Now, you can't take away from that and say, hey, you can go to the beach and run this company. But, you know, there's going to always be that human interaction. But the technology that they've come up with is incredible. And I would suggest that everybody look into that organization and the technology that's out there.
So what are some things that technology-wise, that you've implemented for your property management company over the past couple of years?
Okay, so we've got this this vendor that we use that lets us do self-showing. We self-show the properties. One of the biggest things is showing the property. So a tenant calls up, says, "Hey, I'd like to see this property." So you get in your vehicle, you drive all the way over there, you open the door, you wait. They never show up. How much time did you just waste?
Too much.
Yeah, way too much time. So we have a self-showing vendor, and that vendor, I don't know if you know what you want me to tell who they are.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's called Show Mojo, and Show Mojo has electronic boxes, and these boxes work off an algorithm. It's a genius what they did, but they work off an algorithm, so people can go online, they can click on create a showing, and it gives them a code that is good for like 1 hour time. There's some things that we use, like you can make them give you a picture of their ID. You can have them give you a credit card, you know, all kinds of stuff to verify they are who they are. And the cool thing is they won't get that code until they're actually standing in front of the house, because it works off of GPS. And so it's a genius system, and it's very inexpensive. They handle all of our inquiries, like from Zillow, and so that's another thing. You know, if somebody says, "Hey, I'd like to know more about this house," and they type it into a Zillow thing, it goes to Show Mojo, and they respond for us. And so I don't have to have an employee respond. I don't have to have an employee go show the house. So that just that technology itself, and you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, what about stealing and you know, people ripping you off?" I tell you what, we've been using this system we've been using self-showing ever since I've been doing this for 10 years now, or 8 years. For 8 years, we've been using self-showing. I've never had anything go missing because somebody went in through the key that's at the property in the lockbox. Now, I've had people break in through windows and bust out stuff and then get in that way and steal stuff, but never through the self-showing thing. It's amazing, but that's our record so far. Never had anything missing because of the self-showing. Awesome. And it rents them quicker too. Mm-hmm. This is McDonald's society. Everybody wants it now.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have to wait till Saturday to go show the house, they may have lost interest by then.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so just that's one of the technologies. The way that we accept rent, we don't take rent in the office anymore. We have they have two ways they can pay. They can pay online, which is free, or we have what's called a cash card, and they can take that cash card to a store like Walmart and go into the customer service area, and they can pay their rent with cash or with their debit card at Walmart. And it not only accepts their rent, but it also sends the information to our software. So I don't have to have an employee sit there and enter this, you know, this person paid this amount. that's all automated now. So some things like that, they make it where you can scale a business like this. You can have 450 properties or 500 properties that you manage with, a small staff, and not have to, scale your staff up.
Yeah, interesting. So we use Rently, like he uses that Mojo app. They're very similar. I think they also have a marketing component on the back end as well. But but both of those work really, really well. So you mentioned that you can have 400 places that you're managing with a smaller staff. Just kind of give us an eyesight into what does that look like. So you have 400 doors, and what do you have on staff?
So we have, and the way that we manage, our management style is departmental. Some people like to have a portfolio manager type thing where you have one guy that manages 100 properties and he does everything. We don't do it that way. We do it departmentally. And so we have a bookkeeper, we have a maintenance coordinator, we have a property turn coordinator. I have my director of operations who runs both offices. I don't actually run the offices anymore. And then we have our first impression person. So I got about six people total, and that's how we manage all the doors that we manage now.
So what do you do with maintenance? Do you hire all that out to subcontractors, or do you do any of that in-house with your own handyman?
No, yeah, we send all that out to subcontractors. We don't want to. There's a certain liability, especially in Florida. If you do work on somebody's house, you're supposed to be a contractor, licensed, insured, and so having in-house maintenance kind of makes you look like you're a contractor, and we're not. And this business is not a contractor. Now, I am a contractor, but that's a totally different business.
Right.
So,
gotcha.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's some good stuff on the property management side. So we're actually running out of time. It's been a good, really good interview. Had a lot of nuggets, so you guys make sure you take notes. But I want to switch tracks one more time, because one thing, and you even mentioned it at the beginning of the show, Tim, what's your goal for years? So your life. So you always talk about your goal for how long you're going to live.
Oh yeah. So I have a life goal, and I want to live to be at least 108 years old. And I want to be healthy all those years. I want to be able to move, get around. When I die, I want to just die, and that's it. But up to that point, I want to be able to do what I'm doing and move around and have a good time and enjoy life. And so I came up with this health goal, and the story behind that is I went to the doctor for a checkup. I was 48 years old. I went to the doctor and did blood work and all that stuff. He said, "Man, you're in great shape for a 40-year-old guy." And I said, "That's great, because I'm 48." and so right then and there, I said, "You know what? I'm going to set a goal. 60 more years. I want 60 more years. So I'm going to set a goal for 108." And so I've been focused on that for years. And now I've been exercising and trying to be healthy for years, not just the last few years, but that's my goal. I do have longevity in my family. My grandfather lived to be 101 on one side and 97 on the other. So, I got some history there, but that's my life goal.
Sure.
Hope I make it.
Yeah. We hope you do too. So that topic, the whole health topic, was brought up so much at our mastermind last week. I mean, Quincy Long got up in front of everybody and talked about, his health and all that. It was very, very moving, but very inspiring the way he opened up to everybody just concerned about it. And then we have this whole situation with Jeremiah and Mo with the smackdown going on, and, trying to see who's going to lose the most weight and that kind of thing. So I think health is often overlooked when it comes to entrepreneurs and people that are business owners. Time is one of those things that's a restraint on people as well. But for you, what are some things? 'Cause you and I had a conversation on the last evening that we were there. I believe that was Saturday night, about health and all that stuff, and dieting, exercising, things like that. So for you've brought a couple of very interesting things to the group as your shares for health. during your presentation. So what are a couple tips for people that are listening that are entrepreneurs or business owners, people that sit in an office all day long, or, maybe they're traveling a lot? Just a couple of health tips that you can give us and the listeners that you've learned.
Well, I heard this from somebody not too long ago. They said that sitting is the new smoking. And because we do sit behind a desk all the time and we're on our computers. So stand up, move around. The more you move, the better you'll be. I try to do an exercise routine. Now I've been doing a little traveling, so I kind of get away from my home gym, but I do this about 4 times a week. I'll go to a place that really kicks my butt. They got a coach there and they kick my butt and make me do all kinds of stuff that you normally would not do. So that's good if you can get in that routine. Take an hour of your day and 4 days a week, 3 days a week, whatever you can do, and go to that gym. And especially if you can if you can afford to hire a coach or somebody to hold you accountable, that's good. Diet is a big part of it. I think, did we talk about eating more vegetables and less meat? I think I mentioned that in the share that I had. Eat less meat. Especially unless you're gonna, if you're gonna eat meat, get some grain-fed stuff that's organic. Try to go that direction, because man, they pump a lot of antibiotics and all kinds of stuff in the meat that we eat, chicken and beef and that kind of stuff. So, just you got to be mindful of it. You got to be aware of it. Be thinking about it, because it does affect your health.
Absolutely. I think that was interesting what you just ended with, is be mindful about it, because a lot of times we just mindlessly eat, whatever in front of us. And I even talked to you about meal prep and how important that is. And Jeremiah is doing this whole thing for the past 4 days that he's been doing this since the last meeting, where he posts about it and then says his why, like day 4, why did I do it? And I think today was for clarity of mind. And I think that has a lot to do with being mindful about what you're eating. And I think that's very interesting. Well, very cool. So we got to wrap this up, Tom. Do you have any other questions for him, or else I'm going to shut this thing down, man. It's been a great podcast, but
yeah, we got to get going. We got
awesome.
another podcast.
We got Mike Jordan coming up next. So, Tim, we ask everybody these last 2 questions. Now, I did not prepare you for this, but I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. So, we always, yeah, I did. We always ask this question. So, good success. You've known us for a little over 2 years now, which is actually about 2 years. So that's awesome. Like we said, he's been a part of our mastermind since day 1. So you know us very well. You know me very well, Tom very well, our vision and what our goals are for good success. So when you hear the term good success, what does that mean to you? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear good success?
I think of it just brings me to thoughts of good people that are really, good success. The group, I mean, it's a good group of people that have good values, people that are that do what they say and say what they do. That's that group. The good success group is really, is that the answer to or is that the answer you're looking for? Or are you looking for actually the word good success?
Well, like the phrase good success.
Whatever it means to you.
The
so
group,
it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it's different for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, every time I think of good success, I think of you guys and the group. I mean, it just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, because I know that these are real people that, we don't just let anybody in the group that, they're vetted. They have good moral standards, and I really enjoy being around people like that, because you got to surround yourself with the right people. Too many people don't surround themselves with the right people, and they get caught up in things that they shouldn't be caught up in.
Yeah, it's interesting. That came up at our mastermind several times. Yeah. Like, don't just take advice from anybody. Don't just associate with anybody. Make sure you listen to who you take advice from. And that's awesome. So a good group of people is what
absolutely.
thinks about when he thinks of good success.
Love it. Awesome stuff. Then you got to leave our audience with one thing only. It may have even been something that you've already said, but whether it's a quote, piece of advice, a thought, maybe it's a book you've read or a resource. If you left our audience with one thing, what would that be?
One thing right now that I'm really thinking about is concentrate. Focus. You know, those words, sometimes we throw them around, but how do you concentrate? You know, what is it that makes us be able to concentrate or focus? Because I think we're too scattered, too distracted. So that would be the one thing, is concentrate or focus. Focus on your goals, focus on your life. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? That would be the one thing.
Focus. You guys heard it here. So focus. Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Just like that. Awesome stuff.
Focus.
Well, Tim, thank you for being on the podcast. This has been a great interview. I love it, and a lot of information for property management. I wanted to dive into health a little bit because we have this conversation pretty often about health, and you're always bringing stuff as your value, as your share to the group every time you come to the mastermind about health. So wanted to make sure that we touched on that as well. So that's all we got for today. Tim, we appreciate you being on.
Thank you, Tim.
We look forward to seeing you in February,
Yes.
right? February, you're
Dallas.
going to be there?
Yep, I'll be there.
Continuous perfect attendance.
I
for the
can't
mastermind.
not do the perfect attendance thing.
The
So.
pressure is on now. So awesome stuff. Well, we look forward to having you back, and thanks for being on.
Thank you.
All right, awesome stuff. So that is going to do it for today's episode. We appreciate you joining up. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to the Good Success Podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the podcast platforms. Just go search Good Success and you'll find us there. And then make sure you leave a review for us on Apple Podcasts. We would love to hear your guys' thoughts about this podcast and maybe things we could do better, continue doing. We would love to hear your feedback. And then the Good Success Mastermind, we talked about it a little bit. Of course, Tim, perfect attendance, been with us since day one at our Good Success Mastermind. Our next event is February 4 through 8 in Dallas, Texas at the Quest Trust Company's office down there in Dallas. So if you guys want to learn more about it, go to goodsuccess.com/mastermind. You can fill out the application there. And like Tim said, we don't let just anybody in the group. We want to make sure that we talk to you. So once you fill out the application and submit it, you'll get a phone call from either myself or Tom, and we'll talk to you there. So goodsuccess.com/mastermind one more time. And then the Active Turnkey book written by Tom Olson himself. You guys can pick it up for free. He's got his right there. He's already read it. So you guys make sure you take advantage of that for free. Yes, for free. You can pick this up. atkbook.com is where you can get that. Just cover shipping and handling costs, and Tom's going to pay for it right then and there. And then the Community Go-Giver event, early bird pricing is on right now. Save a couple $100. Go check it out. We'll have a lot more details to come very soon. We're still in the planning stages, but already got our speaking lineup already set, so you guys can take advantage of that. CommunityGoGiver.com is where you can purchase those tickets. Without further ado, Tom, what are you writing right there? What is that for?
I'm writing Tim a thank you note for being on our podcast.
And that's a Thanksgiving note, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that one of the secret? We did a quick tip video last year.
This is one
about,
of my secrets. I'm telling you. I think that people do not write handwritten notes anymore to people, and I think that people really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Thanksgiving notes too. Everybody gets Christmas cards.
Good success.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tim, you're going to be seeing that in the mail pretty soon.
All right. Good deal.
Thank you guys for joining in, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Remember to be a conduit, not a bucket.
Work to have to give.
Catch you guys later. Thank you so much for listening to this Good Success Podcast episode. Make sure to subscribe to us. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Anchor, or Spotify, any one of those platforms, however you like to listen to your podcast. Make sure you subscribe. And just a quick reminder to go pick up your free copy of the Active Turnkey book. It's absolutely free. Just cover the shipping costs and we'll pay for the book. Just head over to goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. Again, that's goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. And you can pick up the book there. So make sure you go do that. Thank you for listening. And remember to be a conduit, not a bucket.